What is up, Raider Nation? It's time to break down the NFL draft, and I'm really looking forward to this next year. Let's break it down, shall we? Now, if all the offensive linemen are taken, and say Bruce Campbell's the only one left, if I was running the Raiders, I'd be taking Rolando McClain out of Alabama. You may think I'm crazy because the offensive line is a big concern for us. Well, one thing is this. Rolando McClain, to me, is a linebacker who's so raw and talented that you don't see people like him grow on trees. And the front seven has been a big issue for the Raiders in a while, the linebacking position. Kirk Morrison's okay. I hope we get Thomas Howard back, but there isn't that true impact linebacker like those days of Greg Beekert, We don't have the true great linebacker that we once did, and fixing the front seven would be a key thing, in my opinion, for the Raiders. So it's only a dream, but Rolando McClain would be my pick if the Raiders, supposedly all those offensive linemen are taken.
It's the invasion of the Raider Nation. Let's go, Raider Nation. Let's go, Raider Nation. Are you ready for some football? Yeah, you ain't ready for no football. You ain't ready for them Oakland Raiders. Come on, it's the invasion of the Oakland Raiders. Let's go. Are you ready for some football? Yeah, you ain't ready for this football. The Raider Nation is united. When they see them Pirates, fans get excited. The opposition get quiet when I hit the field with my eye patch and my shield. The silver and black will attack. Are you ready for some football? The silver and black will attack. Are you ready for some football? Raider Nation, let's go. Raider Nation, let's go. Raider Nation, let's go. Raider Nation.
So with the first pick of the NFL draft, the Raiders drafted Rolando McClain out of Alabama. A great pick, one I really liked because obviously I said it as you just saw earlier in this video, and the offensive linemen were taken, so we went with the best thing available on the table, and that was Rolando McClain. I really like the fact that he's got high IQ, he's got a lot of intelligence, and he can play both a 3-4 or 4-3 depending on what we switch up. So I really love this pick. It's great to see Rolando McClain, a Raider, and for those of you who didn't have the Raiders drafting this, you needed to have to watch my pre-draft video in order to know, because a lot of Raider Nation wanted this guy, and I'm very satisfied because he was the best available, as well as being a very solid linebacker to hopefully fix our run D, because we ranked one of the worst last season. No joke there. So, great pick by the Raiders. So with the second pick of the NFL, second round pick that the Raiders had, we took a guy named Lamarr from Texas. He wasn't on my radar initially, and surprisingly he was ranked higher than Cam Thomas was, so that's perfectly fine. The defensive tackles in this class were highly rated. He probably would have been a first round pick if it weren't for such a deep class this year. So I like the fact we were able to trade down and still get him. The Raiders probably wanted this guy from the start, so they were able to successfully trade down and still get him, getting a 5th and 6th round pick at the time for Lamarr when trading down. Really good job by the Raiders in taking a guy who's very athletic and, once again, needing to help fix the front seven. So I like the pick, and he was ranked higher ahead of Cam Thomas, so really good job there. With the 3rd round pick that we had, we used it to draft Veldheer, and he was a Division II guy. If you saw my pre-draft video and saw the description, I had him as one of the athletes Al Davis would most likely take, and that's what he is. He clearly is probably one of the better athletic offensive linemen in the draft. He was a Division II school person, but he was probably one of the most dominant linemen in Division II football. You may say Division II players aren't meant for the NFL, but there are obviously Division II schools or FCS schools that have successful NFL players. This guy clearly has the measurements and athletic ability to be a successful offensive lineman. He'll be a project because of the competition he faced compared to the competition he'll probably face in the NFL. But I like his measurements. You can see in the description video clip that he is lifting a really 425 pounds, so just comes to show how athletic this guy is. So with the 4th round pick that we had, we drafted Bruce Campbell. Very predictable, but this is a good thing. I'm happy that I predicted where he would be drafted wrong. Sure, I got it right that he'd be a Raider, but Bruce Campbell was taken in the 4th round. Very happy he fell. I mean, people said he was 2nd round talent, late 1st round talent. We ended up getting this guy in the 4th round. So I really like the fact that we got him late and we're not reaching for those of you who said we were going to reach in the 1st round, like myself. I admit I'm wrong, and I'm happy I am to be wrong, because Bruce Campbell is a project. He doesn't have the same amount of playing time that Jared Veldheer got, so I think that's why Veldheer was taken in front of Campbell, because of experience. Veldheer played 4 years while at Hillsdale in the FCS school. Bruce Campbell only started like 13 games for Maryland. He didn't play as much, but he does have the measurements once again, and he's a workoholic, so great pick from where we got him. This is a good value pick by the Raiders. So in the 4th round, we traded up with the Jacksonville Jaguars to select Jacoby Ford. Yes, this was predictable. I actually had Jacoby Ford going into the 3rd round. I'm thankful we took him a round later. Didn't like the fact we had to trade up for him, but what we did do is we dumped Kirk Morrison, and in my opinion, Kirk Morrison was rather expendable. Sure, he led the team in tackles every year, but to me, he just was not consistent enough that his tackles would come so late in the field after a 10-yard gain or a 20-yard gain. So Jacksonville gets a 5th round pick from us and Kirk Morrison, while we took Jacoby Ford. Now Ford is a track star, as said before. He was the fastest player in the combine. Probably increased his stock. He was projected to be a mid-rounder, so 4th round is in the middle. So this is not a reach like some of y'all would think it is, but I don't like the fact we had to trade up for him. He was on the Al Davis's radar for sure. What he is going to be doing is kick returning, I think, which is something we actually need. So in the 5th round, we drafted a guy named Walter McFadden. He's also related to Bryant McFadden, who's now on the Steelers. This Walter McFadden is from Auburn, and he doesn't have the greatest speed, but he has the right height and weight. Most likely he'll be probably playing the backup role, really deep backup role to compete for. He has some big playability, but he doesn't have that home run speed that you'd want. In the 6th round, we drafted a guy named Travis Goethel from Arizona State. He'll be probably fighting for special teams, because the linebacking position right now, we just have a lot of them now. He might compete with Slade Norris just for a roster spot. So we'll see what happens there. And in the 7th round, we had 2 picks. The first one we used was on Jeremy Ware. He's a cornerback from Michigan State. The guy had some off-the-field issues, but I think he'll be fine and recovered by the time we see him. He actually has a hard hit in the tapes below, so take a look at that. Also, we drafted a guy named Steve Brown from Michigan. He's a safety, reported to be. I don't know much tape about these 2 picks, but I do know that they have to be athletic, because Stevie Brown actually had a fast pro day 40-yard dash time, so we'll see what happens there. So the last thing I wanted to address, of course, is getting Jason Campbell. It's about time we have an okay quarterback. I didn't think we had to go for a star quarterback trying to hit a home run, but we do have a legit quarterback who now should be the starter of the Raiders. Will Jason Campbell be starting? He should be. Nothing's guaranteed, but the one thing we do know is the time is ticking for Jamarcus Russell. If he does not take a pay cut, he should be gone. He should be under minimum wage right now. Not sure what else to say. But Jason Campbell will promote competition. Hopefully, Gradkowski and him battle it out among Kyle Bowler and Jamarcus Russell if they all fight for the job. But Jamarcus Russell's got to go, and I think majority of the NFL world, not necessarily Raider fans, but everyone kind of wants him gone. We gave up a 4th round pick and the 2012 NFL draft for him, so we'll see how it goes. But right now, in the short term, for a couple of years, we have Jason Campbell to work on. Maybe we get another quarterback in the future for, I guess, project-related terms. But very good trade acquisition that we picked up. So to summarize the draft in short, I really think Al Davis let Tom Cable run this draft, or he really just chose not to be active, because I really like the changes the Raiders made. They might have turned face with their selections. This draft was not a joke like last year was. There's a lot of reason to be excited next year. So you'll see Raider videos in the fall. Unless there's a major trade that happens, you won't be seeing Raider videos from me for some time. We'll see you guys next fall, and go Raiders.